Hello my quilting friends, Leah Day here with a new sit-down quilting Sunday video. Last week I shared a video on quilting really tiny designs, so I figured this week I would share a video on quilting really big designs. There's lots of tips and tricks to doing this, but the number one tip is just to quilt really big and then try and match the speed of your machine with the movement of your hands. So let's get on the machine and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm quilting over a fat quarter-size practice sandwich, and I'm just going to fill this with this circular design. This is basically Venn diagram. It's circles overlapping one another, but here I've added an extra feature, and that is to stitch multiple times around that circle to build up the texture so it stands out nicely. And also this is giving me that much more practice quilting the circular shape and getting control of the speed of the machine. So when I'm making these big shapes, I know that I can swing out and I can quilt really, I can move my hands really fast. Now that means that I just need to balance that speed with the speed of the machine. So I need to put my foot down. I need to quilt faster. And sometimes that can be a little scary simply because it makes the machine run really loud and it just seems more intense. So I'm just getting the hang of it, and the nice thing is this fabric has these kind of circular designs on it, so I'm using that as a guide as I'm forming this design. So here I'm swinging out, and I'm forming that first circular shape, and now I'm going to just swing around it with a really messy echo. I don't want to travel stitch here. I want the echo to be really inconsistent. So sometimes I end up travel stitching and overlapping my lines, and sometimes I don't. And I want to go around about 3 times for each circle. And it's okay. You don't, if you end up going around once or twice, you don't have to keep score or keep count. It's just something I'm generally trying to do here. Now I think I'll stitch this circle and go this way. And another thing I realized is that some of these prints are not complete. Like sometimes the circles aren't complete circles, and so I'm just kind of making it up as I go along. Now, as I get more comfortable with this, my hands are going to move faster, and I've got to put my foot down, otherwise I'm going to start seeing really big stitches. So this is what the machine sounds like when it runs really fast. It seems pretty, like it makes me a little jittery because it seems so loud. All right, so I'm going to come over here and stitch another big circle. Really big circle. This is kind of pushing the size of the space that I have open with my hands here. That's why my hands are spaced so wide apart. And that didn't end up coming out very circular, but the nice thing is, as you swing around it with multiple loops, I don't know, it kind of brings it together. This is one of those drawing techniques. When you're trying to draw a circle on a piece of paper, you don't just try and draw one circle. You draw it like this. You draw a scribble over and over again, and then as you go around and around, eventually you will get a more circular shape. It's kind of a trick of drawing. It's kind of cool. So that first pass might have looked a little awkward, but as I went around it more than once, multiple times, it looked better and better. So here I'll stitch this one. And it's a-okay to overlap your lines, just like I am here. And I think it looks really cool when they overlap pretty intensely and several circles are on top of one another. The key, though, with large-scale quilting is that you want it to stay nice and open. So you just have to be looking for the next circle in the group and kind of be eyeballing that and figure out how you want it to overlap. Like I probably wouldn't pick that circle simply because it's going to be locking up the texture too much. It's going to be making things a little too dense. And if you have a circle that doesn't quite touch, like right here, that's okay. You can stitch it and make it touch. You can stitch it and make it work, and that's just fine. You got to make it up as you go along. I like working off prints like this when they're real random because they can help you form the design quickly and easily without having to overthink it too much. I think that looks really good. Now, I'm not really stitching in any rhyme or reason this time around. Normally, I would work in rows, but for this particular quilt, this is just something I'm just stitching, and I'm going to slice it up and do something else with it. So I'm not so much worried about quilting exactly right across my quilting space. I just generally like to work in a row because I fill the space really logically, and I'm not really doing that today. Now let me show you what it's like to really quilt fast. I'm going to speed up the design and just go for speed. So here I'm really putting my foot down and my hands are moving fast, but this isn't even the fastest the machine can go. The machine can actually go faster than this. So I'm still barely pressing the foot pedal, and I'm a little afraid to know what will happen if I press it all the way down to the floor. So let me, yeah, that's closer to the floor than I've ever been before. But I'm trying to maintain control and think about the design at the same time, and I know I can't do all of those things at once, especially while I'm also trying to not stitch into the batting here. So for me personally, I like to pick a speed that's just comfortable, that I can stitch and I can think and form the design at the same time. And then as I get more comfortable and confident with it, then I can speed up, especially if I see my stitches getting bigger than I like. That's the sign that you can put your foot down, speed up the machine, and probably deal with that extra speed just a little bit better. I definitely think that playing around with speeds and larger scale designs, this is definitely something I want to do a lot more of on this machine. So that's it for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed seeing me quilt this large scale circle design. It was a lot of fun and super, super fast. The thing about quilting fast is you just got to put your foot down and make the machine run fast to match with your hands. And sometimes that can be a little scary when it sounds so loud and it seems like it's going so fast. So keep that in mind and have fun playing with large-scale quilting this week. If you'd like to learn more about the Grace Qnique 14, the machine that I'm using, check it out and learn more at graceframe.com. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos on this machine, please post in the comments below. I really want to make this a fun, interactive series, and I'm always eager to hear suggestions from you. If you like this video, please share it with your friends and subscribe to my channel on YouTube so you don't miss out on the next video coming out soon. Until next time, let's go quilt.